Hey everyone, this is Dr. Aeronautics. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a fun one. We are going to operate as MARC Train 520 on the entire length of the Penn Line from Washington to Perryville, making all stops. And then at Perryville, we will turn the train around and then operate as Train 537 in the cab car from Perryville back to Washington Union Station, this time not making all stops. Then we have our timetable for Train 520 and our timetable for Train 537. So you can see on the way back, we'll be skipping West Baltimore, Halethorpe, Odenton, Bowie State, and Seabrook. We're operating a peak train today, so we'll have the MP36, actually two MP36s on the front, followed by 6 Bombardier bi-levels, and the cab car at the end. We have about 30 seconds to go until departure. And now, despite the fact that this is a commuter train, don't let that faze you. We're actually still going to be going relatively fast. With an MP36, we're limited to Class C speeds. The Bombardier bi-levels would be Class B, but you have to go by the slowest thing in your train. And as a matter of fact, the MP36 itself is limited at 100 miles per hour. So that is the fastest we will be going. But for commuter rail, that's pretty fast. Okay, it's 12:15. This is the departure time. Very nice and smooth start. Let's see if I got ditch lights here that I can turn on. And get instrument lights. No, unfortunately. Alright, we'll have to turn these off then once we get further along. These things drive me crazy. Alright, first stop is New Carrollton. New Carrollton at 12:27. So the speed limits that are going to be appearing on the HUD today are going to be Class Bs, but we'll be going by Class C. So generally that's, if at all, subtracting those numbers by 5 to 10 miles per hour, not to exceed 110. Although for us, we're going to artificially lower it again to 100 for this train. I wonder if that actually has a placard somewhere saying not to exceed 100. If not, I can say it's definitely in the timetable. So that is definitely something we can't do. I do love the amount of view in this train. Alright, we get to pick it up somewhat now. Great view of Noma there. Alright, so the 95 coming up, for us it will be 85. Going under New York Avenue at C interlocking. Now, one thing we're missing that we would need to have is a cab signal display in here. Unfortunately, we don't have one of those. Alright, off to the races. We can do 85 now. Off to the left is the Ivy City Maintenance Facility. Alright, Notch 8 full power. We're going to be hearing that a lot on this journey. The MARC locomotives, especially the diesel ones on the Penn line, are pressed pedal to the metal. It's pretty much, you come out of a station, if it's not a terminal station like Washington, Union, or Baltimore Penn, you are in Notch 8 as soon as the train's ammeter curve allows it. Okay, now we're at 110 for the speed limit. I completely forgot that this train came with the alerter. See, that's the problem, is you go so far out of the station, and you have no idea that the alerter's even active until it hits you, and it's always right there where you're accelerating. As soon as I heard the power go away, I knew we were screwed. That sucks. Go into emergency. It really does drive me crazy that the alerter sound doesn't go external. We're gonna have to be careful, because that is going to bite me if I keep doing that. All right, looks like we might be able to do Notch 5. Let's see. All right, we got 20 seconds. 19, 18, 17, 16. Alright, we're good. Crossing the Anacostia, entering Maryland. Alright, now let's see where this alerter decides to activate. It should be about 30 seconds from now, probably when we're back up to that 85 to 90. Check up on our timetable right now. So we're due in New Carrollton at 12:27, so we have 3.5 minutes to get there. And we're at milepost 129 right now. No, that can't be right. 130, no, 130, probably about 131. So we're 3 miles. Yeah, and we're doing a mile a minute at least. So we're probably not going to be that late at New Carrollton, maybe a minute or two. It's not very uncommon for MARC trains to be late at New Carrollton. There you are, sucker. Okay, so let's see. For the curve at... Yes, the only thing we have to worry about here is the curve for Landover, and that is 100. Actually, no, we don't even have to worry about that because I forgot the train's limited at 100. Alright, this time when I go to track view, I'm going to watch the alerter box. Alright, here's the Landover Metro Station. That's our slowdown point for New Carrollton. So we'll dump 5 pounds and see where that puts us. I do know where these trains break in real life, so it's just a matter of figuring out how much brake pipe reduction is equivalent to what the trains use in real life. And then we've got a good slowdown profile. It looks like this is pretty close. I'm going to say that maybe if it's an uphill, dump 5 pounds. If it's not uphill, dump 10 pounds. This is actually really good. Yeah, because if we weren't going uphill, we'd still be going a lot faster. But with the uphill, 5 pounds seems to do it. So for level, I'll try 10. Alright, we've got an approach medium, so after the station, we'll pretend to set the driver reminder appliance, which doesn't exist. And do a maximum of 45 for us to move over to track 1. Alright, it's getting too slow now. Alright, so it's 12:27 now, so honestly we're not that late. We do have to stop for a good minute, though. I did pull some... I did pull some boarding numbers off of the MDTA website, so we can actually devise a boarding time, so... Alright. Doors are open at 12:27:30. So if you think of it this way, there's, you know, probably 20 trains a day looking at the timetable. And That means about, for New Carrollton, there's 509 daily boardings. That probably averages out to about 30 per train. You think it's probably about 30 seconds per passenger, or not 30 seconds, a second per passenger. So that would be about 25 seconds of minimum boarding time to get everybody on and off the train. So that leads to a minimum boarding time of 25 seconds. And next station is Seabrook. We're probably going to be late there too because of the short distance between the stations. That we're due there at 12:31. And remember, we're limited at 45 miles per hour here. And we got a medium clear. So after that, we can go up to 110. And I do believe they've now started running more Northeast Regionals up Track 1 because this is now, for Class Bs, it's apparently 125 now. Which is actually wrong in the simulator, so I'd either have to change it or see if an upgrade is available. Okay, full speed 110, but not for long. All right, for Seabrook, the daily boardings here is only 140 passengers, so that averages out to about 5 to 10 per train. So we only need to stop for about 10 seconds. And it's the last three cars. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a boarding sign that tells us exactly where to stop. So we'll kind of have to wing it based on the HUD. Oops, I should have had the bell on. Okay, very close. We might have just missed it in the front. Yeah, we missed this car by a little bit. Yeah. That's okay. Not bad given that there's no stop sign. Alright, it's definitely been more than 10 seconds, so let's go. Next station stop is Bowie State, and that's at 12:37. So we're now operating about 1 minute late. Oh, that's weird. What is that? Why do we have an approach? We shouldn't have an approach. This should be clear. I'm going to say that that's a signaling problem, because I'm not seeing a 30-mile-per-hour sign right here. I haven't tested this this path out before. So actually, that's a note for my signaling log. So now normally we'd have to proceed prepared to stop, but so the only thing that would cause this to turn red is if the signal ahead were to turn red, and I believe that's the Bowie approach, so I don't understand, like, unless there were a train there, which there shouldn't be. That is indeed a stop signal. Actually, no, that's a restricting. Okay. I think we're having some real signaling glitches. This used to happen on the northern part of the corridor, but I don't think I've tested track 1 before. Oop. There we go. So it looks like there might be, whatever issues were happening on track 2, they're now happening on track 1. I know it works on the Washington to Baltimore, but we're actually using the Washington to Philadelphia route, so we're actually not going to even need to change on the way, which is nice. So it's one route the whole way through. Alright, this is about our slowdown point for Bowie State. Yeah, that's too bad. Something is really messed up with the signaling here. I think we're going to need to dump a little bit more air. Still more. Let's bring it down to 100. Too early for that. And then this is the same thing as Seabrook, last 3 cars. get half the car on so that the front door can open. The rear door of the last car of the train never opens because it's the cab car door. Okay, we're definitely operating 1 minute late now because it's 12:38. So we need a dwell time of I think it's about 20 seconds here. Yeah, 17 seconds. And we're good. Next stop is going to be Odenton at 12:43. There is actually a curve that we need to worry about. So the Grove Cut, we're actually not going to be going through there. That's at milepost 117.4. That's a 95 for Class B. I believe it's a 90 for Class C. So this one we actually do have to mind. But it is at the top of a hill. So there's a chance we might not even reach 90 by that point. Okay, good. Whatever signaling problems were going on, it looks like they've alleviated. We're now back to clear signal. And now I have to update my notes. Crossing the Patuxent River. Big Patuxent to be precise. And there's 118, so we're coming up to the 117.4. So it was approach after Seabrook, restricting Bowie approach, which I know that sounds oxymoronic, but it's the approach signal gantry. And then I think I saw an absolute stop at Bowie. Fixed at Patuxent. So this is our 90 here. Woodwoodsville back there. Alright, so now we're 100 until curve at milepost 114.4, which is, and there was the little Patuxent River. Oh, wait a minute. No, that might have been, yeah, that might have been a street. No, it was the little Patuxent. Okay. So this curve coming up is an 85. And we're going to be 1 minute late at Odenton too. And unfortunately, this is a longer dwell station. Let's see. Bowie State has 338 daily boardings. Odenton has 1,401. So that on average is going to take a dwell time of about a minute. All right, we need more brakes. All right, we're going to be stopped until like 1:45:30. That really blows, so we're going to be 2 minutes late after this. For some reason, the lights aren't showing up. Okay, now we're going to depart. Next stop is BWI Rail Station at 12:50 p.m. Okay, there are no slowdowns from between here and BWI that we need to worry about. The next reduced speed is a 90 at the curve before BWI, but before that, we'll be slowing down. This is probably a good chance that we're going to reach the maximum line speed limit of 100 miles per hour. So, you know, I wonder if we're receiving those red signals because there's no cab signal aspect in the train. So it's like trying to pass signals to the train and not accepting them, and then it's getting confused. We'll see. If this next signal is showing approach, that might explain what's going on. clear. Oh, full speed. Well, we finally achieved 100 miles per hour. We would have done it between Washington and New Carrollton if it weren't for the alerter problem that we faced at that time. Okay, this is the runway end for BWI 10 and 28, which is our slowdown point. Okay, and this astounded me, but there's actually more people that board at Odenton than board at BWI. The numbers are 947 daily boardings at BWI and 1401 at Odenton. So we'll stop for 47 seconds. So 1:12:50 would be the right time. It'd be nice if we could have these boarding times adjusted, because it doesn't make sense for the doors to open for 10 seconds. Now, I know a lot of that has to do with just how Quick Drive works. All right, we're about 2.5 minutes late now. Next is Halethorpe at 12:56. And we keep falling further behind, so I'm gonna really need to figure out how to increase my driving aggression, which there's not really much we can do other than brake harder, I guess, because I'm already giving it, following the power curve up 100%. passing under the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. Great place to park your car for the afternoon. And that's not a joke. The parkway acts like a parking lot. It's not like most other parkways where you get to drive your car on it. Okay, this is real. This is an approach limited. So we're going to come down to 45. This is for Winans interlocking. So that's not a signaling error. Yeah, so Winans will step over from track 1 to track A. And this is the Patapsco River, which is the largest contributor to the Baltimore Harbor. As a matter of fact, the outer regions of Baltimore Harbor are called the Patapsco River, which, of course, it is the RIA of the Patapsco. All right, this is the time that we're due at Halethorpe. We have about a minute or two to go. Halethorpe is another high boarding station. Not quite as high as BWI, but there's 646 boardings, which correlates to about a 35-second stop. Okay, that is a limited clear. So we're here until about 1:57:40. Let's see, once we clear the interlocking, track A speed limit will be 60. I'm actually really surprised that that speed limit hasn't changed, because we've exited the interlocking, and that was a limited clear, which means that we should be getting a 60 right now. There we go. Now the signal cleared. I don't understand. Like, maybe we stopped right on the code change point and that confused it, but you can see we just passed a signal and no speed sign, and it just updated to 60. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Coming up, the curve at Frederick Road is 55, as indicated by the HUD, and then we go back to 60 until milepost 98.5, and then we go down to 30 for the bridge interlocking. All right, we got an approach medium coming down to 30. Well, this is a nice place to do 30. This is the Gwynns Falls Viaduct, and it is the contributor to the Middle Branch harbor of Baltimore. Now, coming up is West Baltimore. This is possibly the hardest station to stop at least with Martin State Airport. You've got two doors. On West Baltimore, you've got one track car. And I used to think that it was because of low boarding numbers, but I mean, this setup here at West Baltimore is absolutely abysmal. Like, you would end up consuming more. You would probably triple the boarding time, if not quadruple it, just because you can only fit one car on the West Baltimore platform. There are 432 daily boardings, which is even more than Bowie State with 338, and that's a last 3 cars station. So technically at West Baltimore you should have something like 4 cars, but no, it's just 1. And especially on the other side there, it's abysmal. It's like, do we really not have... We have the money for more lanes of interstate, but you're really telling me that we don't have the money to just extend this stupid platform? All right. Perfect. I bet the doors still are not going to open. Oh my gosh, they actually opened. I think that's a first. Take a picture to document the moment. Okay, so we stopped at 13:05. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to take a second picture because I've always been confused about... I've had to reposition the train before, and it hasn't opened up. So I'm going to take a picture here. So you have to stop... If you stop these 2 train cars right between the signpost for the lamp pole there, it will open the doors. Okay, let's see, that's a full minute. We needed about 30 seconds. No, we needed about 22 seconds. But that's if we were boarding through all the doors, which we weren't. So there's triple the time. We're good to go. All right, that was 05 or 06. So, yeah, we're full 3 minutes behind. We're due at Baltimore Penn Station at 1:18, which is 12 minutes from now. We're going to have no issue meeting that. So we're definitely going to catch up at Penn Station. But once we get out of Penn Station, we're going to have to really haul it in order to stay on time, because unlike Amtrak, there is no schedule padding. Let's find the cab lane. There it is. Okay. Because we are going to be going underground soon. This will be a good time to use the dynamics here. Wow, it's going to take a lot of dynamics. Looks like it's 200 amps holds it, so we'll go to 300 to bring us off of the speed region. And then come back to 200. approach medium. Alright, this is impressively steep. We're going to go up to 300 amps because we're actually picking up some speed now due to the grade. Oh, and we're going in on Penn Track 3, which makes sense because we're using different we're using a MARC train, so that's important. South limits Paul and Charles. Track 330. Okay. I saw the alerter go off right then, but I just hit the horn. South Portals Union Tunnel and South Limits Paul track for 15 miles per hour. And you can actually see that reflected on the speed sign there. There is a 15 coming up. Alright, we've got a... Alright, that's the Jones Falls. That feeds the inner harbor of Baltimore. So I'm trying to think. So that was a... I believe that was a limited approach. Alright, it is 1:12, and we'll be sitting here for about 5 minutes. So we've got the time. So this model of Penn Station is actually so good that it's great to actually be able to give a tour. Because we have the time. So this is track 1, and if you'll notice, it's concrete, and it's not the NEC. It goes way up on this flyover and around. This is because this is actually the Baltimore Light Rail track. So Penn Station track 1 is not even the NEC. Tracks 2, 3, 4 are for through-running MARC trains. They can run through on there. Track 5 is for terminating MARC trains, so you'll notice that there's a buffer there, so at this point you'd have to turn around and go back the way you came. Track 6 and 7 are used by Amtrak, typically. And then track 8, I think, used to be a storage track, but I think they've recently put a platform on track 8 now, so I believe that is also usable for MARC trains as well. All right, we got about 15 seconds to go before departure. All right, next station stop is Martin State Airport at 1:30 p.m. And remember, this is a 15 through here. I'm not sure what that is displaying. That restricting maybe, but that's a really weird way to display restricting. That is Interstate 83 over there. That would be a cool place to train spot from. Wow, you'd get the tunnel portal. All right, once we're completely in the tunnel, we can do 45. All right, we got a clear signal. Now, unfortunately, you see there's a 50 coming up. That is for Class A and Class B, and we are Class C, which means we don't get that. So we are 45 until we get to the 60 coming up. And then we're 60. Some East Baltimore. Alright, we are 60 until after bay interlocking. And then 105. Had a game crash there. Most likely due to signaling issues. Alright, we've got an approach limited. We're going to move over to track 2. Actually, we are on track 2. We're moving over to track 1. And this is to access MARC State Airport. I'm actually surprised we're due there at 1:30 because it's going to be really tight. It's already 5 minutes out, and we're pretty far off. I think we're at about milepost 88, and that's at milepost 84, so that's 4 miles out. I find it hard to believe that we could be late because we left on time, and yeah, we left on time and drove pretty much the fastest speed that we could have. Then the only explanation is that the speed limits I have are wrong. Alright, we got a limited clear. Alright, now on track 1, we're 110. still going to be late at Martin State Airport. I don't understand how this is possible. My only guess is that this train uses a HHP 8. Because there's like no way to be on time. Platform is just straight up missing here. There's supposed to be a access ramp, a lot like what you see at West Baltimore. Well, the doors did actually open there. So let's see, our daily boardings on the northern end of the line, they're really low. So this is 2:14, which corresponds to 11 seconds stop. We're good to go already. And we're now 2 minutes late again. So next stop is going to be Edgewood at 1:47. Now the lights are working. It's weird. Okay, we've got an approach limited for gunpowder, coming down to 45. Medium clear. And we're going to cross the Gunpowder River. After this, we're good to go back up to 100. Strange, we only got one door to open. So Edgewood has 148 daily boardings, which is a quick, roughly 10-second stop. However, the first time ever, we are early. In fact, we are 4 minutes early. But we do have the L on the timetable, which means that we can leave 5 minutes early. And so we might as well just check that the doors are closed. And we're good. Next stop is Aberdeen at 1:55. And speed the whole way should be 100 miles per hour. See how you can kind of see the land and it's flat, and then all of a sudden it kind of goes out to the horizon, and then you see a increase in terrain height way up here. You just kind of see it going up. That's the fall line you're seeing. So everything on this flat plain is below the fall line, and then that hill up there is really a slope above the fall line. Got it. That stinking alerter would have got us there if I hadn't watched it. And now, despite the fact that Aberdeen is an Amtrak station, MARC only has 110 daily boardings, which equates to a 5-second stop. The departure time is about 1:55, but we are allowed to leave as much as 5 minutes early, and it's 1:52 now. So we'll continue at this point to our next and final stop, Perryville. We're due at 2:06. And this will be a mixture of high speed and low speed because we will need to be changing tracks. this is US Route 40 over here. Next speed limit we need to worry about is a 90. That is the curve before the Susquehanna River, but that shouldn't apply to us because we'll be switching tracks and we'll be going a lot slower to go from the number 1 to the number 3. Actually, no, it's the number 4 track. So we have to move over 3 tracks. There it is, advanced approach. Coming down to 30 miles an hour. We have an approach medium. I'm actually surprised that we received an advanced approach back there, because if the next signal is an approach medium, well then there's no need for the advanced approach. Just give me the approach medium first, and then it'll slow down to the medium clear at the actual interlocking. Good news is going south, just about all of the stations are on track 3. So all this slowing down business to switch tracks before the station, that shouldn't be happening going south, at least not very often. Can't remember, but it might have to happen for Martin State. Definitely won't happen for, we'll have to do it for Perryville to get back under the number 3. Won't happen at Aberdeen or Edgewood, maybe at Martin State. We always have to slow down for Baltimore. Shouldn't happen for West Baltimore or Halethorpe. or BWI, Odenton, Bowie State, Seabrook, New Carrollton. So yes, we will have a really good run. All right, we're crossing the Susquehanna River. And the Susquehanna River is what feeds the Chesapeake Bay. At least half of the water that goes in there, well more than any other river, originates from the Susquehanna, and the Chesapeake is the Rhea of the Susquehanna River. That is the submerged valley. And in the middle, between the two races of the river, is Garrett Island, which used to be a volcano like 600 million years ago. The river itself is actually almost that old, around 400 million years old. And that is older than the Appalachian Mountains through which it flows, which is somewhere around 350 million years old. All right, and we've got a medium clear. They'll finish the journey at 30 miles per hour. The interesting thing is the river actually powers the electric trains, because it looks like we're not seeing it, but there's actually an overhead power line which delivers 25 hertz power to the Perryville substation there, and that gets fed into the 138 kilovolt towers. Those are the tall towers, and then other substations will lower the voltage to 12,000 volts where the pantographs will pick it up. And this is Perryville. All right, that's it. We'll go ahead and get the train turned around now. Welcome to the cab car. Let's see, it is 2:28. Departure time is 2:35, so we've got approximately 7 minutes to wait here. And I'll have about 3 minutes to go until departure. Set a few things up in the cab. The reverser indicator is a little bit interesting. It's got an off position that's not really selectable, which is weird. We'll go ahead and shift into forward. And let's see, we can turn the dial lights on here. Make it a little bit brighter in here. The black cab is pretty dark on my monitor. But in real life, I actually prefer very very dark consoles because I like to operate at night, and the darker the inside is, the brighter the outside will look, because your eyes are always going to adjust to the brightest thing possible, and if you can make the inside darker than the outside, then the outside will look bright no matter how dark it is. All right, we're going to be moving fast, so we've got 7 minutes to Aberdeen at 2:42. Let's see if we can get the signal. Yeah, it won't go, so we're going to have to treat it as restricting. All right, heading back to where we came from. Shoot, this thing doesn't have a cab signal indication either. Well, then we'll have to treat the code change point as if we got something. Alright, going back across the Susquehanna River, and hey, a code change point. It's limited clear, which means as soon as we leave the interlocking, we get to go back up to the track speed limit, which is 90. So same rules apply going southbound, but track 3 should have better speeds than track 1 or A, and we should be on track 3 just about the entire time. Except for right here where it becomes track 4, but that's okay because track 4 is the faster track and track 3 for some reason in the middle is 80 miles per hour. Okay, for Class C speeds, this is 95 to 115 for the Acellas. And once we come out of the curve, we're 100. Okay, now 100. And this will be great. We are 100 all the way to river interlocking. Which is after Martin State Airport. All right, here we go, Aberdeen. And it looks like the braking is going to be more powerful going this way because it's using combined braking. So it's putting on both the dynamic brake and the air brake, which is not what happened on the way up. And we're right on time, 2:42 departure. All right, next stop is Edgewood at 2:51. I haven't received an alerter message yet, so I don't think the alerter's functional going southbound while inside the cab car, I should say. What's up with the speedometer? Just doesn't want to display 80 for some reason. So south of Penn Station, we're going to be kind of like an Amtrak train. We go from Penn Station to BWI, and then BWI all the way to New Carrollton, and then New Carrollton to Washington Union Station, which is about what most Northeast regionals do. So aside from the fact that we have to follow the Class C speed limits and have a top speed of 100 miles per hour, we're going to be sailing through that section. My guess is that because it's an express service and we struggled to stay on time on the way up, my guess is this service is typically run with a HHP8, and that's something that I should definitely keep in mind if I do this again. It's probably better to run this with an HHP8. That would also allow my top speed to jump from the Class C speed limits to the Class B speed limits, which would make the consist significantly faster. So if we struggle to stay on time on the way back, especially through the longer sections, then that will confirm the theory that I should be using an HHP8 for this, which would make this a 125 mile per hour service rather than a 100 mile per hour service. Bush interlocking. All right, braking for Edgewood. Okay, 2:50 p.m., right on time. Okay, next is Martin State Airport at 3:02. Can't seem to make the push from the engine be quite as gentle like what we had on the way up. Okay, it looks like we're going to move over. So this is a approach limited going down to 45. So we're probably moving over to track 1. So we need a second platform and a pedestrian bridge at Martin State Airport to make it more efficient. Well, we have to slow down, but at least we're going to be in a scenic area where we're going slow. Alright, this is what we got up ahead. That's a code change point. Okay, yeah, you can see on the HUD now. We're going to move over to track 1. So much for that. I was hoping that we were going to be unimpeded all the way south, but I was pretty sure that Martin State Airport did not have. Wow, you can see those hills out there. That's the eastern shore on the other side of the Chesapeake Bay, which at this point is very narrow. It's something like 3 miles wide, and I think the Bush River, you need to go up another mile or 2 before you enter the bay. But that's pretty cool, being able to see the eastern shore of Maryland from the NEC. Never noticed that before. Probably because I was going too fast to have the time to take to look at it. Anyway, I was going to say I was pretty certain that Martin State Airport only allowed boarding from tracks A and track 1. And that is the case. Okay, we've got a limited clear, so we can do 45, and then I need to switch over to the track 1 speed limits. That is 110. At least it's a 45 and not a 30. Could be worse. This interlocking is weird because you get the switch for 2, and then you get the switch for A, and you get the switch for 1. Alright, once we clear, we're back up to 100. And here we go. This stop is going to be really difficult because there's no platform in the simulator. So I can only go off of the green line. Slowing for Martin State Airport. Okay, next is Penn Station at 3:28. So we have 24 minutes to get, 26 minutes to get there. For speed, we're going to be allowed to do 100 miles per hour until river interlocking, or the signal that takes us back to track 3. Alright, we got it cleared, so we're staying on track 1 for the time being. Alright, we still got a clear signal, but we're coming up to river where the speed limit drops to 90 for southbound trains. All right, 100 until bay, and then we drop to 60. Okay, we had another game crash there. For some reason, the game really hates bay interlocking, which I take offense to. I am quite fond of the bay. Oh shoot, there's a 50 coming up. Made it. Yeah, I was so distracted hoping that the game wouldn't crash again. In fact, I should save right now. That totally forgot that 50 was coming up. So it's actually 50 through bay, and then after bay we can go back up to 60. Alright, we're approaching the 45. That would be an approach slow. So we need to get down to 20 now. I think it's the other way around. Not an approach slow, a slow approach. Cab light on and lights on. Technically they should be on all the time, but it's bright because I think there's only okay. This one does have both a dim and a bright setting. I was gonna say, I thought it only had the dim setting. Alright, does this support dynamic braking? No, not by itself. That stinks. So then we're going to have to be constantly applying and releasing the brake as we coast down the hill. Unless, you know what, I can be pretty tricky with the brake here. Yeah, it works. Alright, and this is a limited approach coming up. And we're going to move all the way over to track 6. Okay. 3:28 is our due time, so we're here just about 10 minutes early. All right, and remember, at this point, we transition from a local train to a uh, express commuter train. So we go all the way to BWI rail station at 3:42. We get a smoother start now. Nope. And we've got an approach medium, 30 miles per hour. And it appears that we are going to be using track 2 through the B&P tunnel. I'm guessing that means we're going to be moving over at Fulton, and that would also explain the large wait at Baltimore, because there's probably a northbound Acela that you have to make sure has cleared out of the way before you can use this track. And we've got an approach medium, which we would expect to see if we were moving over at Fulton, so that is most likely what is going to happen. That's a cool view there. Into medium clear. Okay, so we're going to move over. And then we get to return to the normal track speed limits. All right, for Class C speeds, are 45 on, actually, correction, 40. 45 is the Class A speed limit. Class C is 40. And then at Bridge, we become 50. And as previously mentioned, we don't stop at West Baltimore, we skip it. Okay, at milepost 98.5, speed limit now 75. And at milepost 99.7, it becomes 100 miles per hour, crossing the Gwynns Falls. Alright, speed limit is now 100. And the speed limit will remain high until milepost 105, where it'll be 90 briefly. Passing Halethorpe. Crossing the Patapsco River. And we're coming up to that random 9. All right, we're about a minute early. Departure time is 3:42, so we got about a minute and a half. And now we go all the way to New Carrollton at 4:02. Just clipped into my cab there. 20 minutes. Speed limit wise, there is a 90 on this curve, which we'll never reach. And that is it on the way of slowdowns to New Carrollton. Other than that, we are at 100 the whole way. I just crossed under Maryland Route 100. We're about halfway to Odenton. So yeah, it is intriguing now, knowing that Odenton has more people going to it than BWI Airport, why the long distance trains don't stop at Odenton. I'm guessing it's because more people generally want to get off at BWI Airport to catch their flights. Plus it's an Amtrak transfer as well. Crossing the Little Patuxent River. And this time we go through the new section of the Grove Cut, which is 120 curve. crossing the Big Patuxent River. Bowie State. Just past milepost 120, 6 to go to New Carrollton. That puts a likely arrival around 58. So we should be at least 2 minutes early. Crossed under Maryland Route 193. Alright, past Seabrook, and very soon we'll reach our slowdown point for New Carrollton. Alright, this is Maryland Route 450. That's the point. And this is the Capital Beltway now that we're passing on. Perfect stop. That's 57, and we actually can leave 5 minutes early, so we can do that as early as 3:57. So when we're done boarding, we can continue on to Washington Union Station. All right, next and final stop, Washington Union Station by 4:17 p.m. And with the amount of schedule padding in here, there's no way we're not going to make that. So at this point, we're 100 miles per hour to milepost 133. And then we start coming down for the terminal at milepost 133, it's 85. CP Avenue 45, Signal Bridge J 15. and this is US Route 50. Crossing the Anacostia River again, entering Washington, D.C. Got the 85 coming up. And that's an approach limited. Going through C interlocking. And so southbound at Signal Bridge J will be 15 instead of 20. Going in on track 14. Alright, thank you all for joining me. That was an exciting journey of 152 miles, and we ended up just about the same place we started. I think it's 2 tracks over from where we started. But that is the entirety of the MARC Penn Line. Get off the tracks. This is a little bit messy from my perspective with the 2 crashed desktops I had. It was tricky to get set up again, restarted, but it worked out in the end. So, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.